All right, welcome back to the Here's the Deal channel. We should be live. Give me a 5x5 if you can hear me. Michael's here. The Sloth, Breaking the Flaw is here. Cop Dog is here, Cope Dog. Let me know if you can hear me, and let me know if you can hear system audio right here.
All controversy tonight.
Can you hear system audio and me? If you can, we're going to go ahead and get started. 4chan's here. Our guy. 5x5 so you can hear both, right? Okay. Just want to make sure, and I want to make sure that I'm not peeking out, because I have peeked out before and people are like, your mic is all wrong. Accountability for all is in the room. I'm calling you out, man. I'm looking at you. Look at my eyes, Josh. I'm calling you out, man. This has got to stop. This has got to stop. All this freedom going on, all this feeling like you can move in the land of the free, home of the brave, and exercise your First Amendment right to freedom of press and freedom of speech in public buildings. Got to stop. It's got to stop. So if you guys can hear me okay, let me just test my audio real quick. Land of the free. Okay, good. Whew. I hope it holds up. So I'm calling out Josh from Accountability for All because he ruined everything in the town of Ridgefield, Connecticut. I'm going to play you the video snippet, and you've probably heard on Josh's channel. But I want to go over this because there's some key points we got to take a look at. And one of those key points is tyranny never sleeps. So you shouldn't sleep. If you are the freedom bearer, if you're the bearer of freedom, you should not sleep. You should not rest, because as soon as you rest, as soon as you take your oars out of the water, say you're paddling upstream, as soon as you take them out of the water, you immediately start going backwards. There's no middle ground on this, and tyranny always has its oars in the water, hundreds of oars, thousands of oars, and there's plenty of tyranny-loving order followers who will make sure that your freedoms are kindly removed. Oh, wasn't he professional and polite when he removed my freedoms? When he exacted economic tyranny on me? I mean, I've got no complaints with the way the officer or that official acted, because they were so polite and they were so courteous and they were so professional as they handed me that $559 bill for going 7 miles an hour over the speed limit, which is something they do every single time. So let me play this. This is from Josh's channel. I'm only going to play a snippet of this. There's 44 entertaining educational minutes on this video, and I've left the link in the description, and I'll leave it in the pinned comment when this video gets done rendering. We're just going to take a look at a couple minutes of this because I want to play some context that the news programs aren't playing. I want to show you the rapport that Josh established when he walked into this public building in the Ridgefield, Connecticut Town Hall building. He established a rapport with the public officials, other public officials who were working there. Check this out.
Did you make the list?
Of?
Making a list, checking it twice. What's the next word?
Remember, I can tell you where to go still, but not in a nice way.
Come on, tell us. It's gonna find out who's
Telling you why.
Hey,
This is my elf helper.
different song. Very good though.
Look at this guy's face. He's not feeling intimidated. He's not feeling pressured by a man with a video camera walking into a public building trying to hold public servants accountable. He's not feeling any of that kind of pressure. Hold on one second, guys. I got to let Dakota in. He's crying for me. Hold on one second. Oh, shoot. All right. Sorry, guys. I had my mic off. Anyway, that was Dakota. He's got his little Christmas suit on. He was yelling for me. Had to go get him. This guy's not feeling intimidated. He's not feeling harassed. He's having a good time with the cameraman, but the tables are about to change a little bit, and that's what they're going to capitalize on in the news shows, because we got to make sure we frame these dastardly auditing YouTubers in the most horrific light we possibly can.
Thank you very much. You guys have a good day.
Have a great day.
You want to try the next one?
Just having a good time. Holding public officials accountable.
holiday stuff here. Oh yeah, that's old. That's pretty cool. Hello.
Hi.
How are
Are you
you?
filming me?
I'm
Are
sorry?
you filming me?
Yes.
Shut it off. Please shut it off. I don't want to be filmed.
Shut it off? No, we can't shut it off.
Listen, get out of here. I don't want to be filmed. I'm not kidding.
There's National Grinch Day. There's National Grinch Day today. Is that to
You know
tell?
what? Can you please shut that off?
No, it's silly.
What do you mean no? Get out of here. Listen.
Be serious right now.
How are you?
Hello.
Look at that face. Man.
So they're celebrating National Grinch Day at 4:15 in the town hall steps. Are you the
Can
Grinch
you
this
get
year?
out of here now? You know
Ma'am,
what? I'm going to hit the panic button.
you're gonna hit the panic button?
Yeah, can you get out?
I'm going to hit the panic button. Why? Why would a government official want to hit the panic button? Because she's exemplifying what government actually is. Now, let me just get real straight. What I mean by government, I mean government agencies and government agents, because government does not exist. It's the construct. It's the mental construct where people actually believe that other people on this planet that have the same beating heart, that put their pants on the same way every single day, that other people have a higher claim over their life and property than you. If the answer to, does an individual on this planet have a higher claim over your life and property than you? If the answer is no, then there's no such thing as government, because that's what government is. You can actually define government as the right to rule. Does anybody have the right to rule you? If the answer is no, then there can be no such thing as government. So when I use the term government, I'm using it specifically, these government agents, these agents of the construct where they believe people have the right to rule, actually think that you're violating them as public servants for simply wanting to hold them accountable. Josh's YouTube channel name is Accountability for Some, accountability just for public officials, accountability for just private people. No, accountability for all. What is wrong with personal accountability for everyone, let alone a public servant who says that they're there to do you good? Public servants are supposed to be protecting and serving, not doing what this lady's about to do. So she's going to hit the panic button because a man with a camera is making her feel uncomfortable when there's probably 25, 30 other cameras in her building surveilling you. See, the government's got a serious problem with you surveilling them, but they don't have a problem surveilling you. They don't like, by the way, don't steal. Don't ever steal. Don't ever speed, because the government doesn't like competition. The government is here to squelch every piece of competition. They can spy on you. They can speed in their cruisers. They can steal your wealth. But as soon as you start doing what they do, they're going to count you as a criminal. And when you exercise your right that the government is supposed to be abiding by, as in the First Amendment, freedom of speech and freedom of press, they look at that as intimidation. They look at that as violence. They look at that as criminal activity.
Get out of here, please.
It's silly. Are you the first selectman?
No, I'm not.
Oh, no, we were coming around asking questions about the annual Grinch Day that you're having at 4:15.
How ironic.
I guess before we got to that, she
You know what? I'm going to
lost her
get
mind.
the fuck out of here.
Holy
Get out.
Trish.
Oh, ma'am, it's not going to be good. Don't do that. You're going to look very...
Oh!
All right, ma'am. All right. You're going to have to call someone now. Unfortunately, she's in trouble.
I called Josh about that. All right. This is the phrase of the week, guys. If not the phrase of the month or the phrase of the year. All right. You're going to have to call somebody. Looks like she's in trouble. She got herself in trouble because she decided of her own volition to use a file folder as a weapon and attack a man with a camera exercising his freedom of press under the First Amendment that she, as a public servant, probably swore to protect, defend, and uphold, just like all these cops and judges out there.
Wow, I don't think I got that on film. But
I do.
What the hell? Please call the police.
He saw it. You saw that. Perfect. I got it on film.
Please call the police.
I am. Get out of here.
That's assault and battery, ma'am.
We just had, we have some gentlemen up here with some cameras on. If you could send somebody up quickly.
Well, don't forget that we were just assaulted. Tell them.
This is key. This is another part that mainstream media is not playing of this video. When this guy makes a call to have badged law enforcers come up and sort out the issue, he doesn't mention the key component of the reason for the call, and that is the cameraman got assaulted. Listen to what he says on the phone here.
Not.
It's for National Grinch Day, and they're filming us, and one of the employees is pretty upset about it.
And assaulted us. Don't forget that. It's on camera. Don't assist in the crime.
No, it's just two gentlemen for National Grinch Day. We've asked them several times to turn the cameras off, and you just haven't.
Do you want to mention the assault?
In the purchasing office, it's Jake.
Oh, she's going to be in trouble now.
Damn, sorry. Sorry for her. That was
Yeah. You assaulted someone right in the face?
On camera.
I don't know if I got that.
I got it.
I might have to.
I got it. When people get close to me, I hold the phone up high.
Can anybody in the audience tell me if we got that on film?
Oh, we got it all right.
I know Josh says he.
So the guy who makes the call says, yeah, we've asked these guys to leave a couple times. Why did you ask them to leave a couple times? Oh, because they were exercising the First Amendment right to freedom of speech and or freedom of press, and they wanted to gather content for a story about National Grinch Day. And then somebody ends up being the Grinch on camera, acting like the Grinch and exacting violence against the cameraman because they didn't want the cameraman inside a public building recording public officials in the normal course of their duties. So what happens is, there's this barrage, this flurry of stories coming out. This right here is from the Connecticut News12.com. Here's how they chose to handle this story. It's pretty interesting how there's a lot of coverage for everybody except the free man engaged in a free activity on the land of the free, home of the brave. Listen to this.
Controversy tonight in Ridgefield. A town employee has been charged with a crime after hitting someone inside town hall, but that's not what has people upset.
Somebody in the comments section, Shiva said, what's the irony? The irony is they're doing a story about National Grinch Day in the Ridgefield City Hall, and some lady decided to act like the Grinch. That's the irony.
Caught on camera. News 12 Connecticut's Karen Pinto shows you what happened.
There's National Grinch Day. There's National Grinch Day today.
It's just flat out.
All right,
wrong.
ma'am.
I couldn't be more disappointed in that group who thought they were doing a First Amendment audit. Are you kidding me? Read the amendment and act accordingly. That's absurd. That was straight out intimidation.
First select.
This is Rudy Marconi. I like what Josh calls him, Kim Jong Marconi. I like to refer to him as Adolf Marconi or Rudy Mussolini. Or we can also call him Chairman Mar. So this is the select man. Now, that's new to my ears. I'm not used to that terminology. Apparently, this is a New England thing. What is a select man or a selectman? I just pulled this up just for a little bit of context and education. Selectmen serve as the civic leaders of the town. So this guy is a civic leader of the town. You would think that if anybody, any member of any town would be sensitized to what the First Amendment actually says and how it's to be enacted or how it's to be lived out in a community, it would be a civic leader, a selectman. In this capacity, selectmen need to devote sufficient time to municipal issues and also need the ability to delegate appropriate tasks and responsibility. You think his guiding light would be the First Amendment, that it would be the Second Amendment, that it would be the Fourth Amendment, that it would be the Fifth Amendment at the very least. But listen to what this selectman says again, because his words are appropriate in determining what is and what isn't tyranny.
Flat out.
All right,
wrong.
ma'am.
I couldn't be more disappointed.
Flat out wrong, he said. And for some reason, the news crew chose to overlay audio on this. They should have just finished with Josh's portion and then let the selectmen talk. But there's just some kind of crazy overlap.
In that group who thought they were doing a First Amendment audit. Are you kidding me? Read the amendment and act accordingly.
Josh, you thought you were acting in accordance with the First Amendment, but according to Adolf Marconi, you weren't. So we got to read it. We got to refer back to the First Amendment. I know this is all basic stuff, guys, but even Congress, let alone selectmen, let alone senators, let alone judges, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, ... And that's the key component in this. Nobody can make any kind of law. No one can live out any kind of law. No one should be feel like they're free to call a badged armed law enforcers to make sure that you are taken out of the building if you're committing this crime of freedom of the press. That's who this select man is. This is Rudy Marconi. And this is how the mainstream press, fake stream CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird, MK Ultra press, as I like to refer to it, chose to deal with this story. Instead of saying, hey, instead of giving the education to the masses and to the reader saying, hey, you know what? Freedom is supremely important. And if you choose to give up your essential liberty for politically promised security, which never comes, you deserve neither liberty nor security. This Marconi just said that the living out of the First Amendment, the walking in the freedom of press, is equated to intimidation. Let's listen to him one more time. This is super important, super important.
And act accordingly. That's absurd. That was straight out intimidation.
So acting on your rights as a free American on American soil in a public building, holding public servants accountable, is an act of intimidation, according to Rudy Marconi.
First Selectman of Ridgefield, Rudy Marconi, is standing behind a town employee of 30 years after she was recorded at work by a YouTuber.
We all are brokenhearted for her in that she was intimidated. She asked very politely, please don't record me.
The group...
She asked very politely, don't record me, and that question can be denied very politely, no problem. But then she did what, Rudy? What was the next step for Patricia Pachenko? What did she do? Oh, that's right. She was the initiator of unjust violence on a peaceful person who is actually acting in accordance with the First Amendment that you and your employees, Rudy, should be protecting, upholding, and defending. Wow. I'll even say it. I'm so shocked I'll say it backwards. Wow.
Called Accountability for All and was started by Joshua Abrams.
We just want to make sure that public employees have a healthy understanding that cameras are very important.
Abrams and another YouTuber walked into town hall in Ridgefield.
You filming me?
Yes.
Shut it off. Please shut it off. I don't want to be filmed.
They call themselves auditors of the First Amendment.
We try and do it in a non-aggressive manner. We try and be polite and let the staff know that, we're not there to try and get them upset.
Eventually, the employee gets up to hit Abrams with a folder.
You're going to have to call someone now. Unfortunately, she's in trouble.
Police were called.
You got to love that, man. You got to love how Josh, and that's why it's so important, guys. The First Amendment is awesome, but putting a good look on the First Amendment as you're engaged in that First Amendment protected activity, putting a good look on it and staying even keel, being the patient one, Josh being the adult in the room, goes a long, long way. It's that unspoken part of this action right here that sends a strong signal to everybody who watches this. It's like, that cameraman literally did nothing wrong. He never raised his voice. He never cursed at this woman. As a matter of fact, you'll see that he gives Patricia a chance to apologize, and he would drop any and all charges. And she couldn't do it because she has the tyrannical mindset of, no, dang it, I'm right. He shouldn't have been recording me. I'm well within my rights to strike somebody if I don't like what they're doing. I'm well within my rights to violate somebody and to get in somebody's space and actually make contact with them and hit them while they're engaged in a constitutionally protected activity. That's BS, Patricia. It is flat out BS. You need to change your mind. And I'm hoping that if Patricia watches this, I'm not trying to make fun of her, but my God, Patricia, this is what's wrong with this country, is that people think the violators, the criminals, the bad guys are the guys who are standing on and exercising their rights. It's truly got to stop.
Then she was charged with disorderly conduct. Captain Jeffrey Rains with the Ridgefield Police Department says recording in public spaces is legal.
People have the right to go into any public place and film as much as they want.
The employee...
Wait a second. Come again, Captain Rains? What did you just say? Let's hear it again.
Recording in public spaces is legal.
People have the right to go into any public place and film as much as they want.
People have the right. Do you know what a right is opposite of? The right is opposite of a wrong. So Josh was doing what was right. And Patricia decided to do that which is wrong. Josh did not provoke her to do wrong. Josh did not request that she do wrong. She, of her own volition, as an adult American, decided to assault another adult American because he was not only standing for his rights, he was standing for Patricia's rights. And he's still, Patricia, you got to get this part. Josh Abrams from Accountability for All and all these auditors, all these legitimate auditors, and I'm going to single out the legitimate auditors. You know who you are. You know who the illegitimate ones are. But these legitimate auditors are not just standing for their rights, Patricia, Rudy. They're standing for your rights and your children and your grandchildren. That's why when you're standing behind a camera and you're recording people, you're doing it for other people. You're literally putting your life on the line, especially when you're in front of a power-tripping authoritarian who's got a firearm and he's just itching to use it. He doesn't just have a bullet in his pocket like Barney Fife. He's got a full mag. He's probably got an extended mag. He'll go back to the car and get an AR-15 when he's done with that mag on you. That takes courage to hold up a camera to a public servant and say, hey, I need to see your hands. You got anything suspicious in the car? You're acting a little suspicious here, sitting here in this parking lot doing nothing on the American tax cattle dime. You got any illegal weapons in there? You have the perfect right to do that. And you got to know that you're putting your life in jeopardy to the point where somebody like Patricia will come along and lay hands on you because you're doing something for her and for her children and for her grandchildren. I mean, do you think Patricia went home that night? Well, actually, she didn't. She went to jail that night. I don't know if she went to jail, but can you imagine her sitting at the dinner table? So, Patricia, so honey, what'd you do tonight? I assaulted a guy who was exercising his First Amendment rights and our First Amendment rights. Do you feel good about that, Patricia? How could you possibly feel good about that, Patricia? So listen to this guy again. You got a right. You got the freedom. You don't need anybody's permission to record in public places. That's well established. I'm not just talking about case law. I am talking about natural law. You have the right. If you walk out in public, you got to know that you're not in a private space. That's why we have houses. That's why we have bedrooms. That's why we have locks on our doors. If you don't want somebody to see what you're doing, go behind closed doors. But as soon as you step out in the public, I'm fair game, you're fair game. As a matter of fact, I guarantee you, probably as soon as you step out of your house, there's some kind of surveillance drone. Just go ahead and take it as a foregone conclusion. There's some surveillance drone and some, at 80,000 feet, really keying in on who you are. Facial recognition software. They're studying your gait. They know what kind of car you got. They know the license plate number and all that kind of stuff. Let alone when you go to town, you got cameras. You got street corner cameras. You got traffic light cameras. You got surveillance building cameras on private and public buildings. There's no expectation of privacy in public. And you, of all people that should know this, it's a public servant. Not only that, you got body cams, dash cams. Isn't it amazing how they will be surrounded by 150 cameras in their state building, but they freak out about the addition of one more camera. And they will take you out and take you down. You know what? Another thing too, Patricia initiated violence before she actually put her hands on Josh by pushing the panic button. What are you panicking for, Patricia? Why are you doing this? Why are you acting like this? Why are you so insecure?
People have the right to go into any public place and film as much as they want.
The employee will appear in court on December 16th.
Now, notice the employee will appear in court. They didn't say Patricia Pacheco will appear in court when we know that's exactly who it is. And she didn't allegedly assault Josh. She absolutely assaulted him. An allegation is, well, we kind of think they did it, but we don't really know. We can't really prove it. When you got it, video evidence, she did it. And then give her an opportunity to apologize, and she doesn't. She absolutely did it. I guarantee you, if it was Josh that was doing the assaulting, it would be his name on here. Well, Josh, he awaits trial. He'll be in trial on the 14th. That's Josh Abrams, Accountability for All. Here's his address. They'd probably dox the guy. Just amazing. And then you got this. You got this article right here. You want to know? You want to? It's almost like you know, this is like a great psychological experiment when you have YouTubers going around being auditors just to see what these public servants are going to do. It's an amazing, educational, entertaining psychological experiment. Ridgefield to erect wall, tighten security at public building after YouTuber filmed in town. It should be really rewritten, and I'll tell you how I think it should, what the title should be in a second. But the first thing I thought about was Benjamin Franklin's quote: "If you give up a little bit of essential liberty for temporary security, you deserve neither." So Ridgefield, because of Rudy, Chairman Marr or Adolph Marconi, is going to erect walls tightening security. In other words, he's going to create a checkpoint because of what you did, Josh. That's why I titled this "Exposed Accountability for All Channel Ruins Everything in the Town of Ridgefield." You ruined it, Josh. You thought you could walk into that building and act like a free man. Well, guess what? Rudy Marconi's got some news for you. He's going to erect walls. Ridgefield to erect wall, tightening security, creating another checkpoint. So now he's going to penalize everybody else in Ridgefield because one man dared to think that he could actually exercise his constitutionally protected right. Rudy, what kind of individual are you? Who are you? What are you? What have we become? At the public hearing, after YouTuber filmed in town exercised the constitutionally protected activity. Amazing. After YouTubers made a video of town employees at work last week without their permission, First Selectman Rudy Marconi said he's tightening security at the town buildings. When security gets tightened, when security goes up, your freedoms evaporate in the dark sun of tyranny. One employee was arrested on a misdemeanor charge of disorderly conduct charge after swatting a folder at the YouTuber during the December 1st incident at the town hall. By Monday, partitions will be erected. From what I hear, I don't think it's in this article right here, but from what I hear, it's not just the erection of walls. It's not just the creation of a security checkpoint. It's the fleecing of the tax cattle in Ridgefield to the tune of, from what I heard, haven't verified this, haven't vetted this, $200,000. So Rudy's going to spend $200,000 of the Ridgefield people's money because some guy decided to live free. Partitions will be erected upstairs in some of the town offices. They're going to include I don't know if it's in this article right now. Yeah, I see it right here. They're going to have to ring a buzzer. Okay, let's read this. Including the first selectman's office and the financial office. Over the weekend, there will be a wall built here. There will be a doorway with glass. You won't be able to come beyond that. Let's just say it. Checkpoint, Marconi said. I'm going to create a checkpoint. I'm going to create an additional layer of a police state society in the Ridgefield town hall because some guy decided he was going to just walk around. Who do you think you are, Josh? Walking around thinking that you're in the land of the free, home of the brave. Well, Rudy Marconi's got some smelling salts of reality to give you. Wake up, Josh. Oh, this is your fault, buddy. Yeah, you're to blame. I'm exposing this guy. He said he has received emails all over the U.S. in reaction to the incident, both in support of the videographers and against them. I'd like to hear those. Some emails say the employee involved should be fired. Well, you know, you got an insecure individual who's quite volatile to the point where she's going to enact violence on somebody who hasn't harmed her in any way, hasn't threatened her, hasn't damaged her property or stolen from her. I would say that she probably doesn't need to be there. Sorry, Patricia. That's just the facts of life, man. Under the new system, visitors to some offices on the top floor of the town hall will be required. Oh, now there's a requirement. That's a diminishing of freedoms, if I ever heard one. To ring a buzzer, wait in a sitting area, and be admitted by an employee on the outside, regardless of whether they have an appointment. So you can't. Freedom has just been valved off in the Ridgefield Town Hall in Connecticut. Thanks, Rudy. On December 1st, the YouTuber who recorded the videos typically of public officials in their work settings and uploads them to the YouTube channel called Accountability for All, videotaped a number of employees throughout the town hall and had great conversations with them. Don't forget about that, mainstream media. While many of the employees were friendly, oh, there we go. Okay, I didn't read ahead on this one. Were friendly toward the YouTubers, one of whom is Josh Abrams, accounting employee Patricia Pacheco 57 said that she didn't want to be recorded and told them to stop. And then we know what happened in the rest of the story. Now there was Josh sent me a link to, I want to shout out her name because she did a halfway decent job, although she was trying to railroad. It's called WICC600.com with Melissa. And one of the last things now, granted, she was just doing her job as a journalist and asking all these kind of questions, which I thought some of them were, that's an appropriate question. The very last question she said was, can you tell us how much you're going to make on this video right here, or how much you have made on this video? While she is in the process of, doing journalism with Josh, trying to ask questions, trying to get answers, which is exactly what Josh does, which is exactly what First Amendment auditors do. They're just there to record historical events. Melissa was doing the same thing. But is it really any of Melissa's business? And Josh, if you can, Josh, is Josh wrenched? Is Josh in here right now? Josh, Accountability for All, if you can you drop the link to, because I don't have it. I got it on my phone, but I don't know how to transfer it in the room. But can you drop the link to that radio broadcast? Hey, better yet. Actually, Josh went over it. Here, I'll drop the link where he went over it on his channel. This is Accountability for All we're talking about. Let's see, videos. Oh, it was a live stream. Let's see. 4 days ago, 21 hours ago. This is the one I was watching as me and Trish were making our way back home last night. Man, I wish I remembered the timestamp here. I wish I remember. Maybe this is it. Let's see if we can get this.
Versus ACLU. He's mentioned most.
Oh, actually, you know what Josh does? Josh brings out a really good point right here. He brings out a couple of cases, that are appropriate to bring up in this. They're very relevant in this story right here. So let me play this. And while I'm playing this, I'll go ahead and drop this link in the chat so you can listen to this. I highly encourage you so that you can get filled in on everything that's going on in this, because Josh does a really good job recapping. I highly encourage you to click on this link right here that I just dropped in the chat room right there and watch that video. It's definitely worth a watch. But listen to what he says about some of these cases right here.
To redress our government. That is literally the definition of the First Amendment you say that we're violating. Okay? I want to bring something to your attention, because clearly your level of education is just non-existent.
Josh just dropped that interview on that we were referring to. Thanks, Josh.
So let me read you a little something. Reno versus ACLU. He's mentioned most. Welcome, Banana. Welcome. He said that it's because we had cameras. We're not just real press. We have cameras, cell phones. That's unacceptable. Well, Reno versus ACLU permits that phone cameras and social media makes the public fall under the umbrella of media. Upheld.
Now let me just reiterate something. We don't need Supreme Court cases. We don't need lower court cases. All we need is common sense, and common sense tells us that we all have the right to record in public. And if you have the right to record in public, then you are press. You are doing journalism. You're basically, anytime you pull out this camera, I don't care if it's for a family photo. I don't care if it's for looking around the Paris skyline when you're in France. I don't care if you're in New York or whatever. When you're pulling this out and you're documenting the things that you see, you are a historian. Have you ever seen these colorized versions of, a street scene from San Francisco back in like 1907, and they colorize it, and then they make the resolution, they compress the resolution, and it looks like a modern recording? Well, whoever took that video was acting as a historian. That is a historical record. When you go into a town hall, when you stop to record a cop, you're actually recording a micro historical event, so that other people who don't have the luxury of being where you are right then have access to it. Literally, when you pull out your camera, there are potentially billions of people that could watch this over the course of time on the internet. And by the way, when it's on the internet, it is forever. It's going to be floating around somewhere. So you better be careful and be wise about what you put up on the internet. But the point is, you are a journalist when you pull this thing out. You don't need credentials, and he's going to pull up a court case that actually speaks to this very thing. That's why I love the complete coverage of what Josh did right here.
v. California, i.e. FBI v.
Wait, let me back this up because I want to get this case.
Let me read you a little something. Reno versus ACLU. He's mentioned most. Welcome, Banana. Welcome. He said that it's because we had cameras. We're not just real press. We have cameras, cell phones. That's unacceptable. Well, Reno versus ACLU permits that phone cameras and social media makes the public fall under the umbrella of media. Upheld. Wolf v. California, i.e. FBI v. Wolf. Anyone who brings news to the public is a journalist. Douche knuckle. Brandsburg v. Hayes states there's no requirement for media credentials. The 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, and 11th circuits of appeal have directly upheld the right to record police and public officials in the course of performing their duties. Shout out to Michael Cummins, by the way, for sending me a real nice email.
That was good. That was good. Now I have not looked up these court cases, but I plan to, and maybe create a condensed video, because I'm constantly hearing security guards, policemen, public officials saying, "Let me see your credentials." Well, you can pull out these. First of all, the only credential you need is the fact that you're a human being and that person's a human being. But if natural law doesn't wake them up, then let's go to Supreme Court cases. Let's go to lower cases. And the three that he cited just now is Reno v. ACLU, Wolf v. California, and Brandsburg v. Hayes. I plan on looking those up. If you want me to do a distilled video so that you can just say, hey, here you go. Send them a 2 or 3 minute, 4 minute, 5 minute max video about the fact that equates a man with the camera is press, is a journalist, is media. You don't have to have a badge that says I work for the Counterfeit News Network. You don't have to have a badge that says I work for faux news. All you have to do is say, hey, I've got a beating heart in my chest and I've got a camera in my hand. I am media. I am a journalist. I do fall under the umbrella of press. And so do you, copper, because you have a body cam. You have a dash cam. You are automatically press because you have a camera. You don't need credentials. And besides that, if you did have credentials, what would they look for? Well, what would they look like and what are they looking for? Did they go to a class to determine? Is it like counterfeiting school? Okay, you hold up this $20 bill. You see how it doesn't have that little strip in it? Now hold up the real dollar bill or the $20 bill. See that strip in it? Is there media credential school like there's counterfeiting school where they train you on what the real credentials look like? I'd like to ask people that. If I were to give you a credential, officer, Mr. Security Guard, Mr. Public Official, what exactly would you be looking for to determine the authenticity of the said credential that I'm supposed to turn over to you? What does it look like? Does it have a real ID symbol on the upper right-hand corner? I mean, does it have a watermark? Is there a hologram on it? I mean, what does it look like? You tell me what the criteria is, and he won't be able to tell you because there is no criteria. But you can say Wolf v. California and Brandsburg v. Hayes has already determined if I've got a camera, I am press, I am media, I am a journalist, and let them struggle with that. So what I wanted to say was there's a radio show that he did with this Melissa chick from this, and he put the link in there, and I'll put the link to this right here because in this video he actually goes over that. There's the link again. Take a listen to it. It's definitely worth your time. We listened to it while we were coming back to Oklahoma from New Mexico yesterday, and it was great. It was good stuff, good information, entertaining. It'll make you laugh. It'll make you think, and that's what I love about the internet. That's what I love about these auditors, especially well thought out auditors like Josh here. He puts together things that make it simple. It makes it easy. It makes it entertaining. It cuts through the BS of the cloud cover that tyranny is trying to constantly blow up our arses 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I just wanted to show you that. Remember, we do have a natural right to free press, and we also have a constitutional right. And I will say again with Lysander Spooner, whatever the Constitution may be, this much is certain. It's either authorized this tyrannical Rudy Marconi government as we've had, or it's been powerless to stop it. In either case, it is unfit to exist, but that's not going to stop me from throwing this up in their faces, because one thing I know, and you know, they took an oath to protect, defend, and uphold this Constitution. And I'll be danged if I'm not going to throw that up in their face, because that tells you everything you need to know. It's like this cop that I talked to in Missouri one time. He goes, man, I got to pay the bills. At the end of the day, I got to pay the bills. And I said, you know what you're saying right there, right? When you say you got to pay the bills, you're saying that I will do wrong and I will be a bad example to my kids. Because he also said, I got to feed the children. Those children that you're feeding has an example of a dad who's giving them an example that I will do the wrong thing as long as I get a paycheck. And man, he did not have one word to say about that. I said, you're trampling First Amendment rights. Because I got him to admit that he's been involved in the drug war. If you're involved in the drug war and you're doing what Nixon said and you're putting teeth on those in the gums of the politicians by going hands-on and getting somebody because they have burning plant matter in their car, or they're selling something that somebody else voluntarily wants to buy, if you're involved in that, then you're automatically involved in the trampling of the Fourth Amendment right to be secure in your person's houses, papers, and effects. And you've wadded up the Declaration of Independence, where somebody goes, hey, you know what? Using this burning plant matter is how I pursue life, liberty, and happiness. And a cop goes, well, nope, you're not going to do it because Nixon said it was illegal. So the cop does that which is not just illegal. He does that which is immoral by incarcerating the guy with a plant. Can you imagine if they started making rose petals illegal? Oh, you can't have, this guy, what'd you catch him with, Barney? We got 15 pounds of rose petals. You got to be kidding me. And then they put it all up on the car and they got their dogs posing, the canine units. Hey, we got 15 pounds of rose petals. Look at this. That's how ridiculous it looks to me. Having burning plant matter that, the plant matter that you're not supposed to talk about if you're certain YouTube channels, you know what I'm talking about. The ganj. If you got that stuff all laid out, you got the masses applauding those law enforcers going, good job. But it's even more ridiculous than having 15 pounds of rose petals, because there are so many benefits to that other plant matter. There's 50,000 positive societal benefits for that plant matter. And these cops are posing thinking that they're doing the good things when they're actually the ones conducting the criminal activity on the people who just want to be left alone. So just to cap all this stuff up, I've just exposed Josh Abrams from Accountability for All for daring to walk in the Ridgefield, Connecticut town hall and think that he could flex his rights. Well, guess what, Josh? Rudy Marconi says differently, and he's going to sprinkle some tyranny on me. Can't get enough, says Rudy. So he poured tyranny on. He showed you, and you consider yourself exposed, Josh Abrams. Guys, thanks for, I think there were some super chats. Let's see. Doggone it. My viewer activity says no super chats, but I know I saw at least one or two. What's up, News Now Ninja? What's up, Dopey? James Barnes here. Accountability for All's here. Let's see. I think it was Wolverine Transparency with the super chat. Guys, thanks. I appreciate it. If you want to support this channel, one of the best things that you can do is just share this video with everybody you know. There's 418 likes. Let's see if we can get up to 500 likes like in the next minute. If we can get up to 500 likes, that'd be awesome, because it helps me combat the YouTube algorithms that are against YouTube channels like this. Like, they're against Josh Abrams. They're against James Freeman. They're constantly working out and creating algorithms, although there is probably a pot of gold on the end of the Elon Musk rainbow, because I have noticed that since Elon Musk took over, and I'm not saying Elon Musk is on our side. He's a World Economic Forum young global leader. He's got the Neuralink. He wants to merge biology and technology in the brains of the masses. He's for UBI, universal basic income. He's telling us to beg our politicians for carbon tax credits. So he's obviously not on our side, but there is a dynamic that's happened on social media since he's taken over Twitter. Namely, I got my High Impact TV channel back out of nowhere after I DM'd YouTube and said, hey, Twitter's about to monetize for content creators, and they're going to give you a run for their money. Not 24 hours later, not even 12 hours later, I got my High Impact TV channel back. So I don't know, maybe that's a coincidence or whatever. 465 likes. I appreciate it, guys. Visit Josh's Accountability for All. I'm going to put this link in the chat room. Check that one out, and then check this one out right here where he actually explains what happened. I also want to say I really appreciated being out there with all you guys in New Mexico when we were exposing the tyrants of Gallup, New Mexico. on behalf of that guy that I can't remember his name that Lackluster put a video out on. It was really fun working with everybody, watching how people operate, and just interacted with the cops. I really appreciate you guys. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my private email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. Apparently that was broken for like 6 to 8 months and I didn't even know it. People are like, hey, I got this backlog of emails saying, hey, Brian, I've tried to, here, let me show you. It's highimpactflix.com. And the subscribe button now works. It used to be when you hit the subscribe button, it gave an error 404 reading or something like that. So if you just go, this is my website. Let me shrink it down a little bit. This is the website, and there's a ton of. If you want to look at the national debt clock, there's an interactive weather map, fat loss calculator, moon phases, killed by. Here's an interesting one. How many people have been killed by cops up to the current time? Pretty interesting stuff. But if you go over here on the left-hand side, just put your first name, email. I'll never spam you. I'll just, send you video alerts whenever a video comes out. And actually, I'm not even good at that because I forget a lot of times. But and then hit that subscribe button. It should be working now. Did the stream stop? It seems like people stopped. It just started again. Okay, guys. Thanks. I appreciate it. Visit Josh. Subscribe to him, subscribe to James Freeman, subscribe to DirectD, subscribe to all your favorite YouTubers. If you have words of criticism, hey man, I'm open. If there's something that I can do better, because what's the goal? What's the goal of these YouTube channels? Oh, it's just to make money. I just want to make a whole lot on it. Man, I don't care how much money you're making as a YouTuber. It ain't going to matter if they set up the CBDCs, the central bank digital currencies. We're going to lose all of our freedoms. Making money, it's irrelevant. You know what I want? I want freedom. I want 100% freedom, and I want to sensitize the spirits and the minds and the souls and the bodies of men and women who are just like me, who want freedom also, because you and I, let's face it, are only as free as our neighbors' minds. If they're enslaved and there's 5,000 of them in your community, guess what? 5,000 against one, you lose. But if I can set brush fires of freedom in those minds, through social media means or whatever, if you can do that and we can make this spread like wildfire, we can push back the veil of tyranny, which will always be pushing back against us. So leave your thoughts about this. I will see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban live stream, and you guys make it a great day. Create freedom in your zone of influence, and don't take tyranny off nobody. You hear that, Rudy Marconi? Take care.